What is a survival myth that is completely wrong and could get you killed? Perhaps not really a myth, but something people may think is true after watching people get rescued from the water on TV. Get them breathing and send them on their merry way. If you rescue someone from a near drowning, they still need to go to the hospital. Even though they are safely on land now, the lungs are coated with a slippery mucus-like substance called a surfactant. It's kind of a lubricant and it keeps them from collapsing and sticking to themselves. If they ingested a lot of water into the lungs, chances are they have washed away the surfactant. Their lungs could collapse at any moment and their ability to uptake oxygen is reduced. Get the survivor on oxygen. Source: Rescue Trained Scuba Diver here. That bears can't run down hills. They can. They'll get you too. Drowning people do not cry for help or make gestures to try and get someone's attention. What they are doing is trying to stay afloat and trying to catch their breath. Never count on a cry for help. Zigzag to escape an alligator. Alligators can turn, but will only run in short bursts. Just run as fast as you can. That you can easily disarm someone holding you at gunpoint. If you're driving during a tornado warning, don't get out of your car and climb up the side of an overpass to hide under a bridge. This myth became famous after amateur video of a man and his daughter hiding under an overpass, but the one they chose had some unusual construction that offered them protection in a way most don't. Wind speed increases the higher you get from the ground, and the narrow passages can create a wind tunnel effect, taking the flying debris picked up by the tornado and sending it straight through you at 200 miles per hour or more. Do not wander off to look for help. Stay put. Stay by your car, or wherever you realize that you are lost. The more you move, the harder it gets for rescue to find you. Make yourself visible, but do not try to find the way back yourself. You already don't know where you are. You don't know where you're going. Do not try to leave a deserted island if you are stuck. You will almost certainly die before someone spots you. More just a hey, don't do that. Leave large animals alone. Even if you find, say, a large track or droppings that make you think, hey, that's probably a big enough animal to kill me, leave the area. Herbivores like moose or elk or bison can kill you just as easily as a bear, often far more likely, because they see you as the predator. Don't close the distance if you find a large critter. I don't care if the photo is shooty from that distance. Better to have a crappy photo of a bison than get crushed and stomped in the middle of nowhere to bleed out alone. Building a raft to sail to civilization. If you ever find yourself marooned on a deserted island, stay on the island and be found alive versus never found or found dehydrated and dead of exposure. Also walking to safety if you get lost and your car breaks down. Stay with the vehicle. They always find the vehicle. Its inhabitants, not so much. Opening windows during a tornado. Even as a child growing up in the Midwest, I never understood this. I always thought, doesn't it let the high winds in? I remember in first grade we had a tornado warning and some of the teachers were wasting time by opening windows. Don't drink water from cactus. It's not potable and likely to trigger vomiting, diarrhea, and you will get more dehydrated. If you get stabbed by something, do not try to remove the object. You will make it worse and potentially bleed to death, depending on where you were stabbed. If you try and pull it out, leave it be and get help. Follow flying birds to find water. They could be flying anywhere. Punching a shark in the nose. Have you seen a shark nose? It's slippery and angles down into 3 rows of teeth. Go for the eyes if you need to, but mostly avoid acting like a wounded seal. If you flail around like, ah, frick, it's gonna eat me, the shark will feel obliged to do so. Ah, frick, I guess I'll eat you. Shark. Most people probably are aware of this, but if you're legit suffering from diarrhea, you need to be doing more than just drinking water, because you're also losing a lot of salts, electrolytes, and not replenishing those can really frick you up. You can make a pretty basic Pedialyte Gatorade at home from adding 6 teaspoons of sugar and a half teaspoon of salt per liter of water. It won't taste super great, but you can throw in other flavorings to mask it like lemon juice or similar. I did Peace Corps in a tropical region and most of the volunteers came to dread the inevitable parasite G infection episodes, not just because of being incredibly sick, but also because of having to drink liters and liters of ores, which is Peace Corps' preferred Pedialyte knockoff, haha. Everyone focuses on food and water, but completely underestimates how quickly exposure will kill you dead. In some cases, you won't last 24 hours. Bonus addition to this, every guide I have ever read says to make fire first. Making fire is freaking hard sometimes. There are many environments where you flat cannot guarantee a good fire. Deserts, because of lack of fuel and anything especially wet. If you get halfway through the night and realize you can't make fire, you are going to have problems. So make shelter. You can always guarantee a shelter and insulated sleeping spot. Make sure your bedding is at least 4 inches thick when you lay on it. I guarantee you'll underestimate just how bad the ground sucks the heat out of you. Make your shelter as small, thick and weatherproof as possible. I'm still not clear on if you're supposed to drink your pee or not. Don't tie a rope around your waist and expect it to save you from a fall. Sure, it might prevent you from hitting the ground, but you can still damage your internal organs and break your back doing this. Safety harnesses go around your hips and legs, not your waist. Freaking Dark Knight Rises. Alcohol does not warm you up. You feel warm since it's dilating your blood vessels in your face and extremities, but that causes you to lose more heat to the environment and therefore will make you die of hypothermia quicker if anything. Is this a myth? If you're wandering in the wilderness, wondering if the plants and water are safe to eat and drink, watch what the animals do. They will show you the safe plants and water. Spoiler, this is not true. Many animals are evolved to consume things that are poisonous to us, or nutritionally valueless. Case in point, vultures. If lost in a hot desert, do not ration out your water. Drink when you are thirsty and stay hydrated with what you have, even if it only lasts a couple hours, just to keep your mind-body working. Lost hikers have been found dead with plenty of water by their sides, because they tried to ration it, became dehydrated without realizing it and eventually died. And no, I still don't know if drinking your pee is a survival alternative. I don't know if this is a tip necessary, but humans can easily go a week if not 2 without any food. No water is another story, so that's more important if you ever find yourself in that situation. Not taking the brace position on planes. PLEAE, for the love of God, just brace. It will save you. Not so much a survival myth, but a common camping mistake that an amateur survivalist might make. Never use rocks that are in or close to a riverbed for a campfire. Ever. Many get tiny bits of water trapped inside the rocks. Then when heated by a fire, it turns into a lovely grenade due to the water being heated. AMD turned into steam, expanding quickly. Hot bits of rock everywhere. People like river rocks because they are smooth and easy to cook off of and they look cool, but they are crazy dangerous. Plenty of rocks all around. Find another. That the first thing you need to do is make a fire. Fire's no good if it starts raining. Shelter and raised bed first. Even if you can't get a fire going or collect water, you'll have a dry place to sleep through the night to get a fresh start in the morning. If trapped lost in snowstorm while driving, do not leave your car. You are literally inside a shelter already. A shiny one. It is easier to spot a snow-covered vehicle than a snow-covered corpse. B. Do not keep your engine running. It's a snowstorm. Your exhaust will block. You will nap. Snuggle-bugga. You're dead. Wait for storm to pass. Check exhaust is clear. Run engine in short bursts. See if you have ignored these steps and are now walking in the snowstorm because your sense of direction is flawless. Do not remove any clothing layers. You will believe you are getting hot. You will rationalize it's from burning calories. You will die. The hot feeling is you losing body temp. You are now slowly dying. If you still have your wits, retrace your steps and head straight back to your car. Wait for rescue. If the bear finds you, run downhill. They can't run downhill. I have to imagine some a-hole started this when he wanted to watch his other a-hole friend get mauled to death. They can absolutely run downhill and they are shockingly fast. They can also run up trees terrifyingly fast as well. FYI, the mama bear thing really applies to brown bears. Black bear attacks are incredibly rare and usually only from hungry and/or aggressive males. I've done a lot of wildlife photography of bears and I've spoken to a lot of wildlife biologists about this. When I photograph black bears and their cubs, they are very docile. If something or you spook them, they will chase their cubs up a tree and then guard the bottom of the tree. They won't attack you. If it's a male black bear, they'll likely wander on, but always keep distance. If you encounter a black bear, make as much noise as possible and make yourself seem as big as possible. If you encounter a brown bear, start very slowly backing up. Never run away and never turn your back. If it's going to attack you and there's nothing can do, lay on your stomach with your hands over the back of your neck and play dead. They primarily attack when they are surprised or threatened. If the surprise threat is gone, they will most likely move on. But please, for the love of God, never run away and never climb a tree. I don't know if this counts as survival myth, but you don't actually have to, and probably shouldn't, wait 48 hours to report someone is missing. Those first hours are crucial, so report someone is missing immediately. For the love of God, do not eat everything raw. If I see another episode of Bear Grylls eating a bat or bird as raw as sashimi, I think I'll go crazy. You should absolutely try your best to cook the food you've nabbed, even if it's through an open fire for a few minutes. Eating, say, a dead bird that may or may not have bird flu is a hell of a lot worse than creating a fire to cook it over. Congrats for completely screwing yourself by eating raw wild meat.